Hey there, Amplifiers. Today, I'm joined by a rockstar professional when it comes to really helping business owners save money and keep more of their money, because after all, it's not the money you make, it's the money you get to keep. He's the owner of Belk and Associates, and I'd like to welcome to Growth Amplifiers, Joshua Belk.
Hey, Kenny, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Joshua, I know you run a wonderful company that does a lot of great work for businesses. Also, you really help educate people as well, because you have a podcast and you have a lot of great content on your website. Could you give us a little bit of background about your business and like what got you started?
Sure thing. Josh Belk, Belk and Associates, also have the Belk on Business podcast. Of course, like most of us who have podcasts, find it across all the platforms. But I own an accounting firm primarily. Of course, I own other businesses as well, a part owner of other businesses as well. But my primary focus and passion is the accounting firm, and really focused. Been in business for about 22 years, and my team, our niche really is focused in the world of real estate investors, which is where most of our clients lie around the country. We're not a local, although we're here local, just outside of Chicago, northwest Indiana. Most of our clients are around the country, and it's really where what we enjoy doing, a number of masterminds with clients that are in that space. And really, one thing that we really love doing is trying to find out the purpose and the goals, the vision of our clients, and then what we do from the tax and accounting end, going alongside them to try to help them to get to where they want to be.
Got it. So I know that not every firm kind of has the same approach, and you just mentioned something that I think is really important. You got to get to know the client and where they want to go to really make sure that you're connecting the dots and making that possible for them.
Sure. And I mean, I know that you do coaching as well. And for all of us who are kind of sit in that consultant seat, whether we're a consultant or a coach, whatever it is, it's the only way we're going to truly be able to bring value to the client is to understand where they're wanting to go. My dad turned me on as a young person to Zig Ziglar. And a quote that he gave quite often was, and I know this gets quoted quite often, but if you help enough people get what they want, eventually you'll get what you want. And I think for those of us in our seats, to really try to find out what our clients want, what our customer wants, and then whatever services we provide to come alongside them to help them get there, eventually we will get what we want as well.
I totally love that quote. I actually use that quote a lot myself, even though it may be passed around a lot for some people. Some people haven't heard of it. But it's a great model, and really when you can show up in that space, you have a different energy and people feel it, and just things tend to just work a lot better. If you're just self-centered and self-focused, you push people away, it doesn't work. So I totally love that you have that as a great mantra. So what's a tip or a piece of advice that you'd have for business that is doing good now and they want to just maybe take things to the next level? What's something that you might say, you might want to look at this?
Well, I could sit here and we could talk about taxes, we could talk about accounting, we could talk about all those types of things, and we could talk about tax tips. And of course, in this year, things are very mercurial, things are changing. It almost seems day by day. And of course, the tax space is something that has changed dramatically. But I think for all of us to continue to always keep the end in mind. And so everything that we do, and I just mentioned this a moment ago, but everything that we do, that we are constantly, every decision that we make is always moving us toward whatever that end goal is. And I think for those of us who are business owners that are going to be successful, that whatever our vision and purpose is needs to be greater than ourselves. To have goals, and sometimes, I mean, there's nothing wrong with these, I think, but having these goals of purchasing a Ferrari or, building my next big house or whatever the case may be. I mean, those are all fine, but I think if we're truly going to find self-fulfillment, that goal, those visions need to be bigger than ourselves, and then really spending the time along with our team, and then also those that we bring in from the outside to get all of those individuals aligned to be able to get us to where we need to go. And from a tax and accounting, we talk about tax planning strategies, and of course I have tax strategy calls. We have monthly calls with our clients, and in all of it, that's one question that I will ask on almost every single call. Before we get into the numbers, before we get into execution of tax strategy, is everything that we're doing, is it continuing to align to where you are wanting to go, and making sure that everything we do is really laser focused on that.
I think that's really important. And we were chatted just before we started this interview, how sometimes some of the most important advice may be something that you've heard before and you kind of know, but it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. And more importantly, it matters the actions, the results you get from it. And I think that key concept, really having a defined end in mind. It's a lot of people kind of get in that trap of, I'm just focusing right now on the present, and they can lose track of, the end game, the goal. And then they're doing a lot of things that may not be taking them closer to where they want to go. And if they're not paying attention to that, if they're not working with somebody that can help guide them along, they could be spending a lot of time, money, energy, just paddling, but not getting to where their final destination is in the first place.
Yes, sir.
So, people that are interested, especially your ideal clients, to learn a little bit more about what you do or how you can help them out with your business, how can they find out more about you and what you do?
Well, of course, to stay with social media, and of course, you can go to our website, belkassociatesllc.com, but you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're there. So Josh Belk, you can look for me or the business or the Belk on Business podcast.
Belk on Business podcast. And just, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit more about what listeners may be able to get from that podcast.
Sure. So the podcast really is not something, I know most podcasts, and I think even coaches and people that I've talked to said, you really need to focus on one thing. But with the podcast, we really just get into the nuts and bolts in business. So they're usually short. They're usually under 10 minutes, and really trying to just taking one aspect of our business, and mostly really for smaller businesses, but one area in our business that we should be thinking about, something we need to work on. And I'm really one passion, of course, I have core values, and one of those is compassion. And I really am passionate working with the people that I get to work with, and I really think that putting people first in our business is most important, not necessarily always profit. And so the podcast really gets into a lot in encouraging our employees. What does that look like? How do we work internally? And really just kind of talking about just some of the very practical nuts and bolts within our business.
I love it. So you want to learn more about Belk, Joshua Belk, Belk & Associates, go to belkassociatesllc.com, learn more about Joshua, his firm, check out his podcast, and it's ultimately great stuff to help you get your business to where you want to go. Thank you, Joshua, for tuning in and for sharing your insights today.
Kenny, thank you for the opportunity. It's really a pleasure.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.